Good afternoon. I would like to thank Energy Press for this for the invitation in this meeting that takes place every year. It is a critical era nowadays where the value of renewable energy sources is revealed. My co-panelists have described very well the situation. I'm going to speak about Optimus Energy, which is Interna Energyaki Group. In 2021 represents 1,272 megawatts of established power. 60% of this power is wind parks and the other 40 is PVs. Let me focus on the orange part of this graph, the 90 megawatts that we represent in the unsubsidized portfolio. This is a portfolio of projects that can provide the first mass of bilateral contracts. These projects sell directly to the market. In this graph, let me focus on the aggregator's role in a PPA, bilateral contract. In our example, this is a financial contract. We see the connection in between the RES producer and the consumer. The producer here, until now, took the risk of production, of the volume production. For the moment, they sell power-generated energy, exactly as we do in a representation contract, along with the aggregator, via the energy exchange. So the producer takes up the availability of their station. There is an agreement on the level of availability that the counterparty needs to guarantee. Of course, they do not undertake the balancing risk that still burdens the aggregator. So the aggregator executes a representation contract, sells the energy, and clears the contract with the enterprise or the company. This scheme can be one or two contracts accordingly to the flexible needs of financing the project. In this specific example, the shaping is taken by the provider in order the matching of production to consumption. Unfortunately, I don't have much time, so I'm going to show you just a couple of graphs. Here I'm showing you the variance of prices from the beginning of the target model period in relation to the primary price. This diagram shows the trend of shaping, namely the difference of the average price that the station captures in relation to the average price asked by market consumption. As you see, wind parks are lower, but the PVs, in some cases, are lower than the down price. We are going to wait for some time in order to see the changes, but I'm going to agree with my co-panelists that indeed in 10 years from now we expect important differences in between the prices per technology. This is an important thing for both producers and the aggregators. So what about the balancing cost? I would like us to consider that when we speak about a PPA price, this price doesn't include the balancing cost. As most of you know, since you have active contracts, the balancing cost is too low today. However, as an aggregator, we need to follow this trend and see what happens. We follow this, and the TAPEP does, because in its monthly bulletin it mentions this cost, which is 3 to 4 euros per megawatt hour. Of course, every aggregator, according to their portfolio, has more or less of this amount. The wind parks have a higher cost than the PVs anyway, but what do we need to do? And that's the concluding remark from me. In order to adjust in the best way to the obligation of full compliance with the balancing rates tomorrow. The marketing reform plan in March 2022 will have the daily continuous transactions rate. In our opinion, we can't do a change overnight. We need to follow a gradual change. We can't transfer this cost to the consumers, for example. We need the dry races in between. So the daily cannot be just continuous. It needs to have liquidity. So the traders have to enter the game. Demand response have to be considered. Today we now have 1.5% of the pre-daily continuation. The state aid says that daily needs liquidity in order to reach balancing consequences. So the allocated portfolio will be determined in March 2022. We expect this to come. The rest have a lot to offer to the market, to the balancing market, and can have a gain from this. Also, as regards demand response, we expect this in March 22 as well. It is a given fact that the regulator should provide a comprehensive monitoring mechanism. So we need a gradual elimination rather, of the upper limit of prices. This is a critical decision taken by the regulator in February 13th of 2021. If you see the graphs, this changed a lot the balancing cost. It is also very important to know that the regulator will provide access in a transparent manner so that we can all see the prices that will remain stable, not variable. We need this in order to organize our models and instruments better as regards our offers. To conclude, I'm showing you this graph in between down price and market price. This is from March onwards because the lines were very much fluctuating before. The difference is minus 100 to plus 100. A megawatt hour in day ahead prices might be 150 euros plus a 50 or 60 euros balancing cost for 1 megawatt hour. This is an important number. All these figures have to be normalized. We know that all the bodies, the ministry, the regulator, the aggregators, and the rest bodies are vigilant, and we all want to proceed into a smooth transition. In the rest of the world, we have seen, we have gone through many difficulties in very difficult conditions. I have finished here. I thank you very much for your time.